well. But we all have dreams. The problem is not all our dreams come true. You may dream to be big, dreams don't come true, isn't it? There was a lady who got up in the morning, 4 o'clock, and she woke her husband up. She said, मुझे ना सपने में नेकलेस आया एक डायमंड का. 4 बजे का सपना सच होता है ना? Can you tell what is the meaning of this dream? So the guy understood what she is asking for. So naturally then she realized, he said, "No, I have to go for jogging, I have to go for work, and then I'll come back and in the evening we'll discuss." So he came back in the evening, and we came back with a gift box. Gift paper, satin ribbon, a gift tag written to, my dear wife with love and all of that stuff. And she was like, strategy worked. Morning I asked him, what is the meaning of this dream? 4 o'clock dream, I got a diamond necklace in my dream. So she took the box, pulled the ribbon off, took the wrapper off, opened the box, and inside the box was a book. And the book was titled Meaning of Dreams. So, you can check out whatever meaning when you have a diamond necklace in your dream. So you can check out what the meaning of that dream is. When it comes to a dream, you always need someone to fulfill that dream. You may have so many desires and dreams, but we need someone to fulfill that dream. And as Radha Gopinath Prabhu was mentioning, that Srila Prabhupada was here and had this desire, had this dream. Dream that a beautiful haven, a beautiful spiritual community, a most inspiring temple come in the vicinities of Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan. And that dream is not just dream. That dream is the dream of a pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada. And when a pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada dreams, then there is Krishna always waiting there to fulfill that dream. And it was that dream of Srila Prabhupada that came into existence here around 1984-85 in the form of Shri Radha Gopinath Mandir, and 29 years back Shri Radha Gopinath arrived here in their most merciful, beautiful forms, and it has indeed been an incredible journey, I would say, all those years. Most amazing journey, most amazing journey through its ups and through its downs, through its roller coaster rides. Some were born here, some were dead here, some got married here, some studied here, some failed their exams here, some fell in love here. Different people have been through different journeys. In fact, one guy, he came here only after a girl. He had no interest in Krishna consciousness. He came here chasing a girl. She was a devotee. So she said, "Aayega kya mandir?" So he came. Aur idhar aata gaya. But he didn't have any interest in bhakti or anything. He had interest in something else. And then finally they kept coming here, and on one Sunday feast, her marriage announcement happened. And he became brahmachari. He's still there. Don't ask me who. He's still there. What a journey. What a journey. Shri Radha Gopinath Mandir. What they haven't seen. क्या देखा नहीं है इन्होंने. ये इधर खड़े रह के क्या क्या फ्लेवर चखा है इन्होंने. You have no clue. I well remember I was once sitting here near Hanumanji. I'll never forget it in my life. Sitting here Hanumanji, I was alone in the afternoon sometime. Darshan just about to close. And one guy came in from this door. And one girl came in from that door where I was sitting. Both of them came here. The girl stood this side, Gaurnitai side, and the guy stood near Gopalji side. ऐसे दूर दूर खड़े रहे as if they have nothing to do with each other. Then they were like, those parrots. ऐसे ऐसे दिखते रहते, कोई ये कोई, They constantly keep watching, so they were looking, is anyone around? And we didn't have closed circuit cameras there. But they didn't know I was a live camera sitting right there behind. We didn't have CC camera, but I was sitting there live watching what these guys are doing. And then this guy and this girl started coming close. like this. मतलब Gaur Nitai Gopal से to the center, to Radha Gopinath side. And both of them stood there. I thought prayer कर रहे हैं, कुछ कर रहे होंगे. Suddenly this guy pulled a Mangal Sutra out and tied it around her neck. They walked in as bachelors and went out as married couple. I have seen it with my own eyes. Can you imagine? So इन्होंने जो जो जर्नी देखा है ना इधर सबने, सही में, I tell you, it has been a unique journey. But life is a journey anyways, I feel. You know, I always say life is quite an incredible journey. You know, life में, you know what college life is like? College life is like Reliance Network, no? कर लो दुनिया मुट्ठी में, तब सबको दुनिया मुट्ठी में करनी होती है college life. So in college they can do कर लो दुनिया मुट्ठी में because they are like Airtel. You know, ऐसी आज़ादी और कहाँ? They're bachelors. So college life is Reliance, कर लो दुनिया मुट्ठी में, you know, and bachelor life is like Airtel, ऐसी आज़ादी और कहाँ? But after engagement, then it becomes Idea Network, जो बदल दे आपकी दुनिया, you know, जो बदल दे आपकी दुनिया. And then they get married. Then it becomes Vodafone. Wherever you go, the network follows. Yeah. And then they give birth to kids. Then it becomes BSNL. All lines are busy at the moment. So much comes up with taking care of kids. But in this journey from college to bachelor to married life to kids to work to settlement, life is a journey. In that journey comes the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, the mercy of Shri Radha Gopinath. And then life becomes LIC. जीवन के साथ भी, जीवन के बाद भी. During life and after life. Krishna consciousness is during life and after life. So yes, it has been an amazing journey. Krishna has come to all of our lives. कितने आए यहाँ, कितने चले भी गए, कुछ लोग रह गए. How can we forget Srinath Ji Prabhu? How can we forget Kirtida Mataji? How can we forget Palika Mataji? All of those most amazing devotees who left, how can we forget all of those devotees who are serving in a different capacity elsewhere? Their journey has started elsewhere. And the rest of the devotees still here, going through their journey, a most amazing journey. For the panel discussion this morning, our topic for the first panel will be the journey of Shri Shri Radha Gopinath Mandir. How did this journey happen? What did this journey mean to our panelists? And I would like to welcome our most esteemed panelists for this evening. सब लोग मुझे आके पूछ रहे थे कौन है प्रभु जी? क्या panel discussion पढ़ा? Everyone was wondering who are the panelists? But बोल देंगे तो surprise कहाँ से रहेगा नहीं? During the journey of Radha Gopinath, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj was preaching in the medical colleges like JJ, and so many medical students started coming in. You know, so many doctors, so many surgeons started giving their life to serve Shri Radha Gopinath and Srila Prabhupada. They were making their offering, otherwise surgeons can make funny offerings. One surgeon was operating a patient and the patient died. So he had a picture of Krishna in the operation theatre, and this was his first surgery. So he said, please accept my humble offering at your lotus feet, my dear Lord. You know, the surgeons can make quite special offerings. But this group of doctors and surgeons, medicos and medical professionals decided that they wanted to make their offering, their work, as a service to this Radha Gopinath community and the world at large, Mumbai at large at least. So we had so many different doctors, and for this morning's panel discussion, we have one of our very, very senior doctors who also got married at that time and started his network. But in Krishna consciousness, the network is special because then that network is so much centered around Krishna. It's meant to serve and create an impact by preaching Krishna consciousness. I would like to invite our first panelist couple, senior Grihasthas, His Grace Dwarkadhish Prabhu and Her Grace Vishakha Priya Mataji, to kindly come and join us for this panel discussion this morning. We will go from the extreme right and come to the left. Sit from the extreme right. Chairs there. Vishakha Mataji is here also. Please, Mataji. We had a amazing, amazing devotee family. Son-in-law devotee, daughter devotee, grandchildren devotee, you know, mother-in-law, father-in-law, everyone devotee. But this wonderful couple, this family, their son was just not interested for some reason. Thoughtful, smart, enterprising, intelligent. But the son wouldn't just take interest. And somehow or the other, this family was again and again saying, "Arey, kuch karo, hamare bachche ko bhakti mein lao, kuch to karo." And this young gentleman, who was studying at a most reputed university in chemical engineering in the whole Asia, ICT, also known earlier as UDCT, his father, a professor in the University of Mumbai, at UDCT itself at that time, who guided 32 PhD students. He got married to another girl who was also from UDCT. Father, professor at UDCT, son studied at UDCT, got married to a girl from UDCT, and both of them became such amazing devotees. I would like to invite our second couple, the second generation couple, Shridama Sakha Prabhu and Priyasakhi Mataji, for our panel discussion this morning. Like I said earlier, so many were born here. Priyasakhi Mataji is here as well. So many were born here in this community, isn't it? So many. Nowadays, when people say birth and all that, people, you know, kids. One kid was asking his mother, "When was I downloaded, mom?" Can you imagine that? Thank God he didn't say when I was uploaded. Oh God, thank you. Thank God, you know, but you can imagine all these funny things that keep happening. But this community has seen so many wonderful lives begin here. Begin here in front of Shri Shri Radha Gopinath, you know. And we have an amazing young man who was in the womb of his mother when his mother was coming to the temple, who only heard Ramayana and Mahabharata stories, who heard kirtans, who grew up here in the temple at Radha Gopinath, in the courtyard at Radha Gopinath Mandir, playing cricket. You know, as the parents were here chanting Hare Krishna, they were chanting and counting the scores in the courtyard. So we have a very special guest on our panel this morning, Bharat ki ubharti hui awaaz. I would like to welcome on the panel Baldev Maheshwari Prabhu for our panel discussion this morning. So the topic for the panel is the journey of Shri Shri Radha Gopinath Mandir. Now what does this journey mean to each of them? We have a range here, isn't it? We have a range of devotees. Baldev is senior devotee, 25 years in Krishna consciousness because he's 25 years old. He's senior to me. I came to Krishna consciousness about 21, 22 years now. He's senior to me. He's 25 years, 9 months in Krishna consciousness. Can you imagine? So we have such a diverse range from senior devotees, such a senior couple like Dwarkadish Prabhu and Vishakha Mataji. Then we have the second generation couple, Shridama Prabhu, Shridama Sakha Prabhu and Priyasakhi Mataji. And a young man. What does this journey mean to each of them? Sabka flavor alag hoga ki nahi? And we want those flavors. Each one's different flavors. So what we are going to do now is we are going to request each of them to share what does this journey mean to them. Each one will speak for about 5 minutes, and then after they have spoken, we will see how we can facilitate this discussion and churn the most out of their wonderful experience and their journey at Shri Shri Radha Gopinath Mandir. So I'd like to request Dwarkadish Prabhu to begin, and we can flow in towards Baldev as we hear from them their experiences and their realizations of their journey at Radha Gopinath Mandir. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Bol. Hare Krishna. So thank you very much, Gaurapal Prabhu, for having us here. Yes, I think the word journey does stimulate. It's a beautiful word, journey. When we think of the word journey home, the journey within, the journey back to Godhead, these words always bring to your heart some sort of meditation. It gives you room for introspection and going down the memory lane. So, for myself and for this temple, yes, there are a lot of memories embedded within the beautiful walls of this temple. Of course, we remind ourselves that for most of you who have come a little later, these beautiful walls were not there. It was a building as broken down as you can possibly think of. It was like the ruins of Vijayanagar, you know? Completely dilapidated and mouse infested place. I've had several mice crossing on my feet, going through puddles of urine, which was all over the place down there, overflowing sewers, a most neglected place. So I'm drawing a very dirty picture, obviously, right? But this is what the place actually was when the orphans were staying here. And the word orphans, of course, reminds us that once Adhan Maharaj said this, our Radha Gopinath Prabhu, beloved Radha Gopinath Prabhu, was the first, not first, maybe second, Madhusudan Prabhu, and then he was second, what they call in Gaurapal Prabhu's language as Kuwara Bap. A brahmachari who was Kuwara, he was still Kuwara, but he was a father to about 40 or 50 children, right? And Maharaj mentioned to them that these boys are so lucky. Of course, they were hailing from a place somewhere in where there only one parent. I think most of them only one parent. Maharaj said that all these orphans are very fortunate. Why? Because at least they know who is their real parent. So they have become from Anath to Sanath, right? So all of us who are here, this place is very powerful because everyone in this room and those who are not even here, those who are connected to this place, now know that we are all born in that sense spiritually Sanath, Anath, but now we have Radha Gopinath, who is our eternal father and mother. So that's something which we deeply remember. A place where the cats would get very scared of the mice because they were so large, and no cat would dare to even encounter a mice. A place where was full of young children doing dhamal masti, Bhola's classes down there, Ghazi classes, Iyengar classes, my own tutorial classes. So this is a place which is like a Vidyapit in one sense, where there have been a lot of classes going on, but there were no Bhagavatam classes, right? And then when Gopinath came, it ended into a Srimad Bhagavatam class, right? So it evolved into something beautiful. I remember the Batata Vada stall down there run by Palika Mataji to earn some money for Radha Gopinath temple. Remember that? They had a Batata Vada stall was there. And of course the deities came here. We all are quoting 1988, but actually they came here in 87. The journey actually begins from 87. The lordships came here, where we were given only 2 rooms. LNH was going to, it officially got transferred to ISKCON in 87 from this LNH to ISKCON. There were only 2 rooms given to us downstairs, and all these blessed brahmacharis who have been pillars of the temple, now they have got some decent places where, respectable places to stay, but they were staying on wooden beds, and you open the lid of the bed right? And the lid of the bed was there, all their saman, right? That was their house, that was their everything, that was their locker, that was their life, everything was there. And there was a huge, for the LNH, this thing, if you remember, there's a huge windmill. What is that called? Windmill? That is like air exhaust. And they felt that the children are in that loft down there where we have Prasadam Hall. The loft is so stuffy, so they brought an industrial exhaust. And when it started moving, it didn't remove any air practically, but it created huge amounts of sound because it was an industrial thing, right? And practically you had no peace. The brahmacharis had no peace, no sleep. They couldn't sleep at all. The huge, some sort of industrial sound was created. Felt like an industry over here. And the place where the ladies are sitting there, that place was a place where the most important person came into this temple. His name was Radhanath Swami. He came and he was just 37 years old, and that was a place where he would sleep every day. He had no private place and he would stay in the same place. See, the temple has changed. What we need to recognize is the temple has changed absolutely, completely. But two things have not changed. Radha Gopinath has not changed, and Maharaj's small room has not changed. And of course, he has not changed himself. He's the same pure-hearted, simple sannyasi who has always been there in this temple. So, for me, on a personal note, this place where Jasichandra Prabhu was sitting, we were sitting on 23rd May 1990, where I sometimes take pride in saying that I got the best friend of my life in the form of Vishaka Priya. So, ours was the first marriage in this temple, and we feel blessed that we could. That knot was tied by, we have Panchatattva in this temple. We have Gaunita, but we have Panchatattva. So let us all reminisce that this temple was founded and was inaugurated and put into gear by 5 empowered devotees of Gopinath. Srinathji Prabhu, who for the very first year we are missing today, right, after his absence. He is instrumental in bringing Gopinath here. Then we have Mahaprabhu Prabhu. Then we have His Grace Radha Krishna Prabhu, Sadhe Prabhu, and of course our dear Krishna Chandra Prabhu. So we nostalgically believe that it is these Panchatattva empowered devotees who have been the one who geared this temple to what today we are seeing as one of the most vibrant temples of our Hare Krishna movement. Hare Krishna. So it's like a cruise. It's like when you say the word journey, I can only conclude by saying that yesterday I was on the 34th floor of the Trident 5-star hotel in the evening, and from the window I could see the vast, unlimited sea. It was a beautiful sight, and immediately my heart churned into meditation of thinking of the vast ocean of birth and death. And then when I came here in the night over here, as I kept coming for the last 30 years of my life, I know that this place is a beautiful cruise. It's just a most beautiful cruise. A cruise which is impervious to anything happens in the outside world. When I was sitting today here, chanting my rounds, I was looking up and look at these 5 beautiful domes, which were designed personally by Maharaj's very close friend. His name is Matsya Avatar Prabhu, Marco Ferrini, one of the best interior decorators in Italy. And he made us with a meditation himself. And God Prabhu told about the dream of Back to Godhead. When you look at these scenings, we should remember ourselves that by staying connected to this holy place, this beautiful empowered place, and you look up, that blue color and the clouds represent the spiritual sky. That is the meditation of this place. You look up and you know that you are on the journey in this cruise where sooner but not later you will be in the spiritual sky. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Dwarkadish Prabhu, for sharing your realizations of what the journey means to you. The journey means evolution. Evolution from hardly any facility to so much facility. The mice have become smaller, they're still there. They're scared of cats now. They have devolved, so they're still there, but they're scared of cats now. So not slight change, but it's there. But there has been evolution, certainly. Facilities have changed. We never had an air-conditioned temple hall. And in fact, like we always say, when we made the first AC hall below, Maharaj said this is the AC Bhaktivedanta hall, the first hall below. He said we should have the AC Bhaktivedanta hall. And when we got the Bhulas classes, as he mentioned, this place was place of classes. So when we got the Bhulas classes, Maharaj said, oh, we should call it not Bhulas class, no, we should call it Hari Bhulas classes. So he changed it to Hari Bhulas classes. We had my own coaching classes here and yoga classes here. And from Hatha Yoga and physical yoga to Bhakti Yoga, yes, it has evolved in facility. Yes, it has evolved in the sense of the community. Yes, it has evolved. So yes, your journey means a journey of evolution and a journey of shelter, which is the cruise, as you mentioned. Thank you very much, and may I request all speakers to stick to 5 minutes, because we will then have to facilitate the discussion. Mataji, please.
As you rightly said, it's evolution. So I have been just thinking since yesterday that how today's day represents our relationship with Shri Shri Radha Gopinath, and how relationship with anybody in this world, it always evolves, right? If you have a friend, doesn't become your best friend on the first day. It just remains acquaintance, then it goes little deeper, then goes little deeper, and then you become best of friends. So same way I remember when I passed my 10th standard exams, my board exam classes, the center was Bombay International School, which is a school behind over here. That time there was no Radha Gopinath temple. So I was coming for all my exam papers here. Little did I know that there will be a temple right behind the center where the school is going to be. And as we know, after 10th standard we finish, we feel very bored because you have studied so much in ICSE and there is nothing to do. And it was so wonderful that immediately we got connected to Radha Gopinath temple over here. And 87, Shri Shri Radha Gopinath came, and we remember the first time when the boxes were opened, when the DDs came out, he was blue Krishna. You have seen black Krishna, you've seen white Krishna. Here it was blue Krishna. So just as we feel that our relationship evolves with people, same way I would feel that the first time when we saw something like infatuation, you could call it, the first time we got so fascinated by the concept of having such big deities, and blue color Krishna was there. So the newfound euphoria of something new in life. So it was like so exciting, every day coming to temple, morning temple, evening temple, and it just became like our home. But as we know, we were so small and just kept running in the temple, coming, and some of the senior Matajis used to feel that what will happen to these small girls, no direction in life, nobody to guide them, just moving around here and there, don't know what to do, but it was just all just so exciting. The first experience of Krishna consciousness and worshipping such big deities in our life. And then maybe after some time from infatuation, you evolve to a stage which is called as revelation. Mostly in material relationships, you might have got infatuated, but then what happens? You evolve, things start getting revealed that, oh really, you are like this? I didn't think it would be so bad. I thought it was so good. But in spiritual, it is always opposite. We think something, but it was like much more than what we had anyways thought it could be. And just everything was just, as Radha Gopinath always says, that you cannot talk of Nrsimhadev without talking about Prahlad. So you cannot avoid talking about Radhanath Swami, who's been the heart of this temple. So he was all the time encouraging us, and revealing the newer and newer joys of engaging ourselves in Krishna consciousness and doing service. We were running around here and there, and Maharaj would call us and tell us, somebody preached to you, you got Krishna consciousness, now why don't you do something constructive? Why don't you go and share it with somebody instead of wasting your time like this, So then we said, we don't know how to preach, or we don't know what to do. So no, what you have got, you just go and tell, and Krishna will help you to do whatever is needed. So that's what we started doing to our school friends and building friends and everything. So slowly, the joy of doing devotional service started getting revealed. And then we started feeling that no, this is it. We have to do stick over here. And also, we didn't know what we could do also. Like I remember one time at Mahaprabhu's house at Khar, when the temple had just opened, Maharaj was saying that it's Radha Gopinath Bhagwan is like Vaman Dev. First he occupied little bit of place, then he took one more step, and before everybody knew, the whole area was just engulfed with vibrancy. So he said it's like Vaman Dev. That is as regards to the property. As regards to the people, remember one time he called me and he said, Vishakha, you are like Hanuman and I am like Jambavan. Saying, you don't know what all you all can do. So I have to keep reminding you all, do this. You can do this. You can preach. Don't feel shy. Don't do like this. We could not think we could open our mouths, but he coaxed us. Go out, collect money. He said, Maharaj, collect money, Money for the temple. It's so embarrassing to ask people for money. No, Hanuman. Always keep. You have to be like Hanuman. So that was the next stage of revelation. Then comes the stage of reconciliation. Right? When you get in contact with people, many times the newfound thing starts dying off a little bit and you come to terms with reality that, there are ups and downs in Krishna consciousness, in our relationships with people. Different people, you might have different issues with, don't understand. Again, there was the guide to guide us, as Yogesh said, it was a cruise and you need a captain. Always remember that Vishnu John Maharaj in Radha Damodar Vilas, they mentioned that every day he used to wake up devotees by this particular mantra. I don't remember exactly. They used to say that we have a wonderful captain, Srila Prabhupada, we have very, very favorable winds and we are homeward bound. Right? We are all homeward bound. So that reconciliation stage came about, then Radhanath Swami and other senior devotees would keep guiding and telling us that don't worry. Many times you would feel that somebody is wrongly judging about you or talking about you. So he said very, very wonderful mantra, which I always try to remember. He said, if you are wrong, correct yourself. And if you are right, take it as Radha Gopinath's purification in your life. Because it is their love for you that they are intervening in this particular way. So temple went through that reconciliation phase.
Hare Krishna, can we little cut it short? We're short on time, so we have to have other three of them speaking, please.
Just 2 minutes.
Sorry.
So after that, then you come to the level of commitment, that we have to commit, which is a very high stage and which is our ultimate aspiration. So we just always want to pray to Radha Gopinath, to all the Vaishnavas, that we can remain committed at the lotus feet of Radha Gopinath, that all that we have got, we do not forget about it, and we can help to share that mercy with everybody else.
Thank you very much, Mataji. It was amazing realizations. Actually, we are very honored, to have the first couple who got married here on our panel, and the first ones to actually see Radha Gopinath when the box was opened. Can you imagine? The box opens and you see Blue Krishna. What an excitement that must have been. How many of you would have loved to be there at that time? Doesn't matter, you're still saying him. But just such a euphoria to see Radha Gopinath being box opens and my God, it's like a breathtaking blue sight, Blue Krishna. Amazing. But such beautiful realizations of moving from infatuation to revelation to reconciliation to commitment. Beautifully put, of how our relationship can deepen with Krishna step by step. First with infatuation, then joy of Krishna consciousness revealed through service. Some confusions happen, problems happen. There's someone to help us reconcile it, give hope, and then we have dedicated commitment. Very, very nice. Thank you very much, Mataji. Now I would like to request Priya Sakhi Mataji to kindly share some thoughts on her journey at Shri Shri Radha Gopinath Mandir.
Hare Krishna. So like Mataji said, it was like a revelation for her in the journey of Radha Gopinath. I would like to share our revelation as a couple, how Prabhuji rightly said, we were in college together. So I was introduced to Krishna consciousness, Radha Gopinath, through Prabhuji's family. And obviously it was like for me, Alice in Wonderland kind of feeling, because the day I stepped into the temple, it was like a very new world for me. I'd never seen this part of Mumbai, though I've been living here for so many years. But as I gradually progressed here, I started getting nostalgic feelings because I realized this was not the first time I got connected to Radha Gopinath. Because my connection with ISKCON had started when I was 10. I didn't realize. Because at the age of 10, somebody had gifted me Prabhupada's book, Perfect Question, Perfect Answers. At that age, I had read that book because I was a very voracious reader, but I never understood anything out of that book. I read the book, and it was just part of my bookcase. And then when I was in UD City, like Prabhuji said, we had gone for a study tour to Delhi, and we all were touring around in Mathura and Vrindavan, and we landed in Krishna Balram temple. And I was just like a tourist. I liked everything over there. I was impressed. And I also desired, that I should be a part of this movement. Only one thing I didn't like in the temple was Prabhupada's quarters, because as a child, I would never like to see any human being on an altar. Because I used to feel, why should a human being be worshipped? God is God. So mentally, I think I offended Prabhupada, but I didn't say anything. And then that was it. I came to Mumbai, back to college, and hectic college life. I forgot all about my visit. And then the very next year, I met Prabhuji, and then our journey started. And then I came to the temple, and then so many activities. I just got sucked into the beautiful activities over here. And our journey started as a married couple. We were married soon. And in fact, even before we were married, even before I met my in-laws, my mother-in-law, she was very concerned, like Prabhuji said, that my son is not becoming a devotee. So she went and approached Radhanath Maharaj, and she said that, see, now though my last hope is also gone because he is going to marry a girl from outside. So I don't have any hope. So actually Maharaj had not even met me, but he told my mother-in-law that don't worry, both of them will start chanting 16 rounds even before they are married. So when he heard that, he said, this is never going to happen. So that's how we started, and we became, at particular point in our life, we decided before we were married that we will take this step, together. He asked me, are you with me? Because I had already started coming to the temple and chanting before he had started. Once I started. So we had a long discussion. So he told that I will join. I mean, there was many things which he was going through as a person. Why he didn't join, maybe I think he will tell. Why he was holding himself back when his whole family was a devotee. He had his own personal, I would say, realizations. So then we had a long talk, and he told me that, are you with me in this? I said, I'm already into it. I mean, what about you? So that's how we decided before we got married that we will join. And then it's been a journey as married couple, and then as we got our children here, and we've been part of this congregation. And for me, it has been a journey evolving through various roles in my life. And yeah, one more thing I would like to add, that maybe it was 99 when we went to Vrindavan Yatra. That's the first time I came to Vrindavan. Before that, 97 we had gone for Mayapur Yatra, but the first time we went to Vrindavan in 99. We were married 98, end of 98, I think, Kartik. And when I stepped into Krishna Balram temple, I had this sense of deja vu, I said, I've come to this place, I don't know where. And many times I have get this feeling, I've come to this place. So I thought maybe in my earlier lifetime. But when I saw the Tamal tree, I said, no, I have come to this place in this lifetime. I'd completely forgotten about my visit to Vrindavan. But there are so many things which I saw. And then when I went to Prabhupada's quarters, I really paid obeisances, and I asked for forgiveness for my offense, because through Prabhupada's books, through my journey, Prabhupada taught me that the Guru is to be worshipped as good as God, and all my illusions, misconceptions which I had in my first visit, he removed. So that has been my journey, and I've been part of this wonderful family of Radha Gopinath. I've learned so much over here, so many training sessions through training, so many workshops. I always love to study, even at this age. So Prabhuji says that your journey of study will never end, but here I've learned so many things. So be it relationships, so many skills, so much of knowledge, scriptures through base. And Matthias, it's been a cruise. For me also, it has been a wonderful journey. I can't envisage what my life would have been without if I had not entered Shri Shri Radha Gopinath.
Thank you very much, Mataji, for sharing with us your journey and your visit, how you changed from a tourist to a devotee. As a tourist in Vrindavan and then now as a devotee in Vrindavan, this whole different experience. And thank you for sharing that thing that, yes, we do make mistakes. You've said, thought Prabhupada is a human being, and then how we get a chance, to come back again and change that entire thing. And that beautiful point of how it's just a large family. That word came up for the first time in our discussion, that Radha Gopinath Mandir is a family. And we all have our own families, small families, but being part of this incredible large family where we feel so much, learn so much, and go through all what we have to go through in our life. Thank you very much for sharing that. And now you know, if any guy has to become a devotee, who has to become a devotee first? Therefore, in the West, they have a book distribution strategy. They give a book to the lady first. So once the lady wants it, the guy can't say anything anyway, so he has to take the book. So thank you very much for sharing that wonderful experience, and we will now request Sri Damasaka Prabhu to kindly talk about his journey.
Hare Krishna. So when Prabhuji said, I will not reveal the panelists, now you know why. Because nobody would have turned up if they knew I am here. But anyway. So as we hear in medical science, every cell in our body changes. In 7 years, the body completely changes. Not even one cell is remaining. In the same way, this temple, every brick, every part of the ceiling, the flooring, niche ka, everything about this temple has changed completely in the last 25-30 years. Not one thing remains probably from what was there when Shri Radha Gopinath came here. As Prabhuji said, only Shri Radha Gopinath, Maharaj's room and Maharaj are the common factors. Otherwise, everyone has changed. But it's been a wonderful journey for Shri Radha Gopinath in this congregation. It's been a journey from some 30 devotees in 1988 to over maybe 5,000 devotees today. It's been a journey from, from maybe just Radha Gopinath temple to over 100, congregation programs and satellite centers all across India and probably over the world. It's been a journey from, for us, from Gopal's Fun School, the Gopal's Fun School and Gopal's Garden High School, to youth programs, to mentor and counseling programs, and to Varisht Vaishnav. So there is something for everybody. Throughout your entire journey, there is something that Radha Gopinath gives you. It's been a journey from fairly spontaneous initiations. You're chanting, would you like to get initiation? To the point where now there's an ISKCON disciple course which you need to undergo, and fairly elaborate study material. And it's been a journey for me personally, as Prabhuji mentioned, from being an unwilling demon, complete demon who was very focused, very determined that this lifetime, sorry, won't happen. My mother asked me, ki meri aakhri ichha, my last wish, that's like the ikka, the ace. She said that, I know that while I'm alive, you will not become devotee. At least after I die, I hope you will become. And I very clearly told her that I love you very much, but this lifetime, nahi hoga. So from that unwilling demon to a person who's sitting on this Vyasasana and speaking about the journey, it's been a wonderful journey, and of course, Shri Radha Gopinath have been very merciful to me all through. My first journey, my first yatra to this temple was the Bhagavad Gita course in 1992. So just around the time my parents came, I also attended the Bhagavad Gita course. After that, my next trip to the temple was straight away for my sister's wedding. I didn't come in between ever. And then after that, I started coming straight away 4-5 years later in 1996-97. So, it's been a wonderful journey. I came to the temple, I started becoming a devotee more seriously because of an incident that happened. Of course, too long to speak about. But, when my parents were going for Pune Yatra, Krishnanam Prabhu, he embraced me. That embrace kind of dragged me into Krishna consciousness. And then, and within few months later, how quickly Gopinath, once they see that, okay, somebody is interested, they're looking, okay, kaun interested hai, they are watching. The moment they're interested, they grab them, then they don't let go of you, then you're finished, your material life is finished. So, they grabbed us, both of us, and I remember in 97, the Mayapur Yatra that she spoke about. So Mayapur Yatra, earlier the trains, used to be booked by the temple, the train for the devotees. Entire bogies used to be booked. So in 97, they were not getting permission. So then what they did was, they said there is a marriage in Mayapur. There's a marriage in Mayapur. So उस marriage के लिए हमको train book करना है. So that marriage was both of us.
Oh.
So a special card was printed. We didn't get married in Mayapur, mind you. We got married here in Mumbai, but because we got married in December, but this was in October. In October we got officially married by the blessings of Radha Gopinath and Radha Madhav in Mayapur. So I remember my first Shringar Darshan that I took.
Shridhar Prabhu, just quick
Yeah,
2
done,
minutes.
done. So I remember my first Shringar Darshan that I took over here, where when the darshan opened and everything, all the 100 things that happen at the same time. That was the first time that I had seen Gopinath many times before, but they know how to hook you. So I was hooked by that experience. I was overwhelmed, and tears started flowing from my eyes. And then I realized my stupidity that I could have become a devotee in 92, but I waited for 5 years. So what is unique about this temple? What is wonderful in this journey? Is it hearing and chanting? Is it the marathon katha that we have? Is it the uproarious dancing kirtan? Is it the yatras? Is it the drama festival? Is it the khichdi? Is it the mood of Trinadapi Sunichena? Finally, for me, what is most unique about Shri Shri Radha Gopinath temple is the wonderful association we have of devotees, of senior, junior, mid-size, all sizes of devotees that are there here. That association is what has made my journey memorable and ecstatic. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Sridhar Prabhu. Well, a lot of secrets are getting revealed in this panel discussion of the wedding card and all that. Never knew. And my God, can you imagine the transformation happened by an embrace? Krishnam Prabhu, where are you? We need to take you for all college programs, We don't need to do much, just hug the guys and they'll just become devotees. What an amazing thing that what knowledge cannot do, what philosophy cannot do, a personal touch did. Therefore Theodore Roosevelt, he said, I do not care how much you know until I know how much you care. I do not care how much you know until I know how much you care. An incredible journey of transformation, that experience. Thank you very much for sharing. I thought you were going to say that the one thing that is the key factor of Chowpatty Temple is khichdi, because he just loves khichdi. And anytime they have anything else for breakfast, he's so upset with us. Why you're not making khichdi? So I was thinking he'll say khichdi. He did bring it up, but he said that's not the main thing. So now we would like to call the Bharat ka ubharta hua kalakar, with his incredible, beautiful voice and his singing, budding star, to share his thoughts on his journey. Baldev.
My journey has been a transition from taking all that I've got since childhood, the direct attention from Maharaj, to standing in front of the Lord Jagannath, other temples where there are thousands of devotees standing in the queue. Taking all that for granted, and right now realizing how insignificant and fortunate I am. So as a born devotee, I'll give you a very different picture of how it's from my end. From that side, it's very rosy, it's wow, it's amazing, but it's not the way it looks. Because as a born devotee, I felt really proud. I felt I've conquered the world. I'm surely going back home, back to Godhead. And I'm going to taste those seedless mangoes very soon in Golok Vrindavan. That's one thing I heard in the lectures. And so all of that. But now I actually feel that I'm walking on thin ice, because I'm living in two parallel worlds. One is the material world, and one step towards that I've blooped. And one is the spiritual path, which is the purest form of connecting to Krishna with the best and adequate, guidance and support in the form of mentors like Govind Prabhu, Gaur Gopal Prabhu. And one step towards that, I'm trying to figure out how long will I last? Will I let them down? So this is a big challenge for me. It has been throughout. And to overcome these challenges, you need a good habit. And Srila Prabhupada also didn't create rules, chanting 16 rounds or following the 4 regulative principles. I feel if you break it down, non-technically, these are good habits. Spending time with loved ones, chanting, singing, having prasad. So one good habit that I got because of my parents, my sister, was that every Sunday, 11 o'clock sharp, regardless of what people do outside, other families, spend time outside, go for lunches, movies, etc. But for us, it was 11 o'clock, you leave your house, you reach temple at 12:15 for Gaur Aarti after finishing a morning program at home, and you come back at 7 o'clock. Now the biggest challenge for me, at that time it was the biggest, now it is very minor, but the biggest challenge was my walk down from my house to the car. Because I would be in dhoti kurta, this was probably when I was 6 or 7 years old, I would be in dhoti kurta with my tilak and a shikha, and I would see 15 of my friends playing cricket there. And they are looking at me, they are smiling, some of them are calling me a pandit, choti wala baba or whatever. And they are calling me to play, come play with me. And with a heavy heart, I sit in the car and I go to temple, continuously thinking, I wish I could go back, change my clothes and play cricket. And I did that because I was very lucky to have parents who didn't force me into this. I did that. I skipped 2 Sundays to, play cricket. But again, I was miserable. I was not happy. I was feeling guilty. And that's when I would like to thank Srila Prabhupada, because he created this wonderful thing called a chanting bead bag, which is dimensionally perfect to fit a cricket ball inside. So I started carrying a cricket ball in this bead bag.
my
People
God.
would feel I would chant, but I would be learning off spin, leg spin.
Wow.
And so Sundays were no more, there were no regrets. I used to come to temple, I used to do kirtan, spend time with devotees, play cricket, have prasad and leave. So there was no regrets. There were times when I was
40 seconds to a minute.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there were times when Maharaj used to hug, and he used to hug me in a way that when I was small, I would be covered totally. And sometimes he would just keep talking to the person in front of him. And it was dark. I couldn't see anything after a point of time. And I started to feel, because I'm sweating, maybe he's uncomfortable, and he would sometimes walk. So I would feel what is going on, and then suddenly that blessing turned out to be a compulsion. I want to get out. But now I realize probably that was his way of saying that there will be times where there are going to be darkness, there will be times when you don't know what is right or wrong, you'll be blind, but I'll be there to cover you, I'll be your shelter, just walk with me. One last thing about this temple, obviously he will not be there physically throughout, but one last is about this temple is, my favorite part is when I enter this hall, I pay obeisances, the wooden flooring is like a chest, and this entire temple is like a huge physical body, where the 2 arms, one arm is the Gopalji hall with all the motherly affection, the other hall is the Gaur hall.
What's happening?
Is the Gaur Nitai hall with so many brothers and fathers always there to take care of you. The fountain is the neck, the face is Radha Gopinath ji, and the most important part of the body is the heart, which is ironically to the left hand side, which is the pump room which put blood.
Wow.
So this place is like a one body which embraces you, accepts you for what you are, regardless in your highs and lows. On this day, I've got so much from this temple, I just hope I can reciprocate someday to the best of my ability.
Keep singing. Thank you very much, Baldev, for sharing that very heartfelt offering and really, coming out with the cricket ball in the bag and God, what not. My goodness, I never knew, like I said, so much coming up here, isn't it? All the trade secrets, as they would say. So thank you very much for sharing this and sharing that principle that you feel we're fortunate and insignificant. Fortunate that we got it, but insignificant to say that, well, I really didn't deserve it. And as has come out in many of these discussions, one thing that stands out the most is His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj being here all the time, as he also mentioned, the heart of this community, always being there to guide us through his talks and his guidance, his inspiration, his time. Some got his personal time, rest everyone's getting time through his talks. So he's been there throughout for all of us. So thank you for bringing that up as him being the heart of this temple and this community. So we have, as anticipated, we are actually a little running short of time, but we will still have one or two questions that we will ask everyone to churn and discuss. Vishaka Mataji brought up a very nice point in her discussion, that there is a third stage called reconciliation. The stage of infatuation is very easy actually. In a relationship, it doesn't take much, it happens automatically. Infatuation is not deliberate, it happens automatically. You don't have to do anything to be infatuated, you know. And revelation, well, it's kind of a second stage, so you start doing some service, and there is still a joy. When engaged in service, the initial few years of Krishna consciousness, there's still a joy in Krishna consciousness. But then, we just start knowing too much. When we are in the community of devotees, start coming to the temple, we just start knowing too much. Sometimes we know all the books. We also hear so many stories from here, there, putting it all together, and then there's kind of a cynicism, skepticism that comes in, you know. And sometimes we could be losing that bliss of Krishna consciousness, that experience that Sridhama Sakha Prabhu mentioned when the darshan opened for the first time. That infatuation of, oh wow, what beautiful deities, you know. I wanted to just touch upon that one thing and ask each of them to probably share that, beginning with her, and then if others would like to add, of how does one, what are those things that we could do to reconcile? You know, when these things happen, when you kind of feel there's not much, oh, what's happening here, but this devotee is doing this, or she's doing this, but the management is doing this, and there's so many things. We don't have the same good old days again. You know, we were small and we expanded. Expansion means so many things. How does one go through that phase of reconciliation? So I would like you to kind of throw some light, and then others would like, if they like to add, they could add, or then we could take some other thoughts with them, others.
Again, I was remembering one time, similar situation was there, and I asked Radhanath Swami that, I think it was Gaur Purnima, and I met Maharaj and I said, Maharaj, the anticipation of the festival coming is so nice that it's going to be a 6-day festival and, you know, katha and this, that. But when the actual day comes, you don't feel so much excited and all, you know, about it. And then you have some issues with some misunderstanding with some devotee and all. So I was like going on and on explaining to Maharaj, and Maharaj just looked at me and said, who cares what you feel? I said, who cares, you know? I am so much distressed and, you know, I'm trying to get an answer. Maharaj said, who cares what you feel? Then I was sitting in his room, and there was, on his harmonium, there was some crumbs of prasadam had fallen down. There was a line of ants going over there. And Maharaj said, do you see these ants? What are they? So I said, yeah, Maharaj, but what about my answer, you know? I was saying, no, you look at that ant, just observe those ants. Then he said, just like these ants, whatever is happening, they are just doing their work. So just remember these 3 words he said. Whatever happens, just do what you are supposed to do. Keep coming to temple, keep associating, keep doing your service, whether you feel like doing it, you don't feel like doing it. Do not give too much importance to I feel, I don't feel, I like this one, I don't like this one. What is expected by Radha Gopinath, Guru, Krishna, do that. That will help.
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji, for those words. Who cares what do you feel? Who cares what you feel is what Maharaj said. Feelings are there, up and down. Sometimes you feel good, sometimes you feel low. Sometimes someone says something, someone does something. But we continue on like those ants, with just continue doing what we are supposed to do, and things will change. Just a quick add-on to that I'm asking is, when the feelings are too deep, you could answer, any of you would like to answer on that, you could say, when the feelings are too deep, would any of you want to say what does one do? Do we need to address those feelings, or should we just continue going on like that? Because many times you can continue going on, but the feelings still don't go. So if those feelings are very strong, what would your suggestion be? If someone feels very affected by a person in the community, or someone feels very affected by one's own lack of enthusiasm, we would definitely, certainly keep going regardless of our feeling. And Krishna willing, things will get better. If they don't, what do we do? What are those things that you would suggest out of your experience? If I don't feel, I've tried it, I've tried the Mangalartis, I've tried the Japa, I've tried doing all of those things. What do I do to come out of that feeling of being stuck? This one worst thing in life, being stuck. If it's moving somewhere, it's good. But if you're stuck, if the car is moving in the traffic, even if the traffic is there, even if it's moving slowly, it's moving. But if it's traffic and the car is stuck, that's where one starts feeling hopeless. Even little movement is good. So my thought, just from what Mataji said, it was a wonderful thought that, we keep going. So I just got this in my mind. If I keep going and still my feeling is just where it is and I feel stuck, what would your suggestion be out of your experience? What is that one thing that our devotees would be benefited by in such a situation?
We could do various things. This community offers a wide range of senior Vaishnavas who are parental figures, guardians, counselors. So I think all of us at some point of time have been going through these feelings, honestly. And we have always fallen back upon our senior members of the team, because as you said, it's like a family. So, for example, if I would feel something, I know I have a natural counselor in Krishna Chandra Prabhu and his wonderful wife, Radha Priya Mataji, and we would probably go and talk to them. And sometimes just having a person who's elder, mature, and wise, just, as you said, downloading, just coming out with your emotions, and having a patient person who's a father figure hear you, that itself is oftentimes like a doctor. When the doctor just hears your problem, often a patient say, I feel good talking to you, like that. So I think that's one of the things which this family offers, and we should address the feelings, but we should know where to really express them in a way where you'll be sympathetically heard, and you may get some tips. We talked to one sannyasi recently about something which was going on, and he just said one line, Dwarkadish, I understand what you're going through, but just take it in your stride. He just said one line. Just take it in your stride and move on. And that helped. That just one line helped us. Just take it in your stride and move on. So these are various things you can do about it.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Dwarkadish Prabhu, for sharing this. And it's such a wonderful balance, what both of them said, that you keep going, but then also when there are feelings which you just can't handle, then there is also a system where you can open up. And I think the USP of this community has been there, where you can actually have people whom you could go and open your heart to and share your heart. In fact, if you have seen the Simple Temple video, you would see so many devotees just sitting and chatting, and how much would happen in that confiding, devotees would just keep sharing. So it's kind of a very wonderful dynamic that was existing there. So thank you for sharing that. It was beautiful. I'm remembering the serenity prayer. I don't know if you heard that. Krishna, give me the ability to change what I can, the courage to accept what I can't, and the wisdom to understand the difference between the two. We need wisdom to see the difference between what I can change and what I can't change. So things that can be changed, we should open up and change. And things that can't be changed, and we have concluded, we should keep going on, like Vishaka Mataji said. So there is both as a balance that comes in the Krishna conscious community. But just taking it up from there, that whilst we were talking about, we go to someone and open our heart up. Oh, I remember those days, 1996, when I came here, 95 and 96. We would just have long chats and long conversations. I will never forget, I would sit here after the Sunday Feast program at about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 4-ish. I wouldn't get up from there for another 3 hours, and then prasadam was over. You know, on my birthday, I remember on one birthday, I was just sitting here and I just happened to go to the restroom. Radha Gopinath Prabhu was eating atta halwa. It was Sunday feast program. So Sunday feast they made atta halwa and my grandmother used to make it for me. Became a little nostalgic. Bola, "Hey, Raj, atta halwa hai." So he was already eating. So I said, "Thoda loo kya?" Bola, "Hey, nahi," because he has already eaten it. So I thought I'll get Maha Prasad, but I didn't. So then I was talking to everyone and I was thinking, no problem. जाएंगे नीचे तो आज बर्थडे है आटा हलवा मिलेगा and I went, the puris were over, the sabji was over, the dal was over, the rice was over, the atta halwa was over. There was only one sabji left, the sabji that my grandmother taught me you should never eat. I was born a Jain, a sabji that I was taught I should never eat. So much. You know that snake god? सांप वाला मालूम है ऐसा बड़ा लंबा होता है उस मेरी दादी हमको बोलती थी सांप काट के नहीं खाने का इसको so we never ate that and that was the only thing left and I well remember बोला आज गोपीनाथ की इच्छा है सांप खाना distances in traveling so much is happening I would like all of our panelists to share like one line each on how could we keep the same spirit going in the modern setting today. It's a different setting and we can't go back. We cannot go back to where we were because it's changed, grown. But what is that one principle which you have experienced or heard from Maharaj or realized which we could keep going with, which will ensure us that spirit that we had? It's not that it's not there, it's still there. But how do we ensure that it keeps going and growing? So beginning from Dwarkadish Prabhu to Baldev, one line each. If you would like to share that one line, one thing, of Dwarkadish Prabhu saying, let's begin with Baldev and go the other way. So Baldev, what is that one line you think? Is it the cricket ball? What is it that we would do? One line to keep that mood today.
I was discussing with Govind Prabhu that we should keep something like an IPL, that's ISKCON Premier League.
Oh wow.
Wherein we can have kirtan and sports.
Wow. What's the sport we'll play? Cricket? Soccer?
Any sport, it can be any sport.
Wow, amazing.
So cricket. Sorry, the point is we should.
जो मन में है वो बाहर आ जाता है.
So the one line which can inspire all of us is surely kirtan, and because I'm connected to music also, so increase the amount of kirtan you can keep having in temple anywhere else.
Okay, so that could be an occasion where everyone comes together and we kind of have some time and bonding together. Thank you. And Baldev is soon organizing a Kirtan Mela. We are going to have a Kirtan Mela here, which it will be organized by Baldev. It has already been approved. We are just waiting for His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj's date, and it will be a whole festival which is going to be organized by our next generation, and it is going to be headed by Baldev Prabhu. Just for Shidama Sakha Prabhu.
So personally, for me, there will be times in your bhakti where you will struggle with your chanting, you will struggle to read Srila Prabhupada's books, you will struggle with your family life, you will struggle with your material life, with your job, your occupation, whatever. There will be all kinds of struggles. But if somehow or the other, by hook or by crook, by any means possible, we can have the association of devotees, run to get the association of devotees, that association of devotees will reset your life and bring you back on track again. So never, even if everything else is damadole, as they say, but somehow or the other, if we have the association of wonderful devotees, that keeps us in good stead, that keeps us connected to the lotus feet of Shri Radha Gopinath. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Shidama Sakha Prabhu, for bringing up that one key word. Association is what will keep that spirit going. Thank you.
Just about 2 days back, two of my god sisters, we just happened to get together, and we were just talking, and I was very nostalgic that 10 years back, 12 years back, we used to have so many of these sessions. We used to sit together and talk, and now there's hardly any time with children and their schedules and all. And Prabhuji kept calling me, where are you, you have not reached home. I said, I'm not coming home, I'll come home when I come, but we are just sitting and talking. So I think we should all form our pockets, if we wait for the temple to do something, already there's so many things the temple has to do, so we can't do that, we can't wait. We should form our own groups, maybe for reading, chanting, Ishtagoshti. We have sessions in our local congregation where we get once in a while for Ishtagoshti. We choose a topic prior and we discuss on that. All Mataji's, Prabhuji's, they get together. We have our pockets of God sisters or chanting sessions. I think that is always what we can do. We need not wait for an external environment to do something for us. We can always do something on our own. And Prabhuji always told, many things have changed in the temple nowadays. The attendance on Sunday is decreasing and all. So many times we also used to have challenges with the children, their studies and classes going on, and But Prabhuji put one condition. He said Sunday is non-negotiable. Maybe not full day like what we have done for the last 20 years, but Bhagavatam definitely we should come. So there are many things which we can do and not blame the system or the crowd or whatever. So whatever it is, we can always
Thank
do.
you very much. It's a brilliant suggestion you've given, that come in smaller groups, form study groups, chanting groups, whatever, because that means we're coming together to form that bonding. Thank you very much, Mataji.
Again, it's the same thing. Like Radha Gopinath Prabhu always gives the example of the train. Bombay, everybody has that experience. If we just exist and if we just flow with the current, when the destination will come, we'll get down. Forcefully, we will be getting down. So whatever is going on in the temple, if we just remain part of it, part of the projects, part of the festivities, part of the association, that itself will open up a whole world. Like this beautiful painting which we have over here of Kolovet Sridhar. Today morning when I was chanting, I was just remembering that we are also poor at heart and like Kolovet Sridhar, but definitely the spiritual world is waiting for us over there. If we just remain with this group of people, they'll push you back to Godhead.
Thank you, Mataji, for emphasizing on being in the train, exist and flow. Mumbai people can relate very well with that. Thank you very much. Dwarkadish Prabhu, the concluding words.
This temple room has Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. This temple room in the last 30 years has given us hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of Hari Kirtan, thousands and thousands of hours of Hari Katha, tons of prasadam I have had from Radha Gopinath's beautiful offerings, and so much of love and association. I would pray to Gopinath today that I may always remain grateful. And it is that gratitude which I will carry in my heart for Radhanath Swami and for this temple and for the beautiful deities which will keep me going, because I know that I have received so much which I can never repay back. That gratitude will pull me on for the rest of my life.
Thank you very much, Dwarkadish Prabhu, for sharing the principle of gratitude, that it's a gratitude that will take us along. So Kirtan, association, smaller groups, existence and gratitude is the message of our esteemed panel. To continue having that same mood at Radha Gopinath Mandir. I would like to add one more, and we will close today's panel discussion for the next program for this morning. His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, like I said, has been here for us all the time, and he created an incredible opportunity in our busy life to still come and bond with each other, And that incredible opportunity is our annual yatras. Because while we are in Mumbai, we have our life. But when we come there, 10 days of being off-site, as they call, off-site gatherings, where we can be discussing, talking, chatting. I remember I was with him in Germany. And in Germany, one devotee, he came to Maharaj, a disciple, and Maharaj asked him, so are you coming for the yatra? So this devotee said, Maharaj, I have no leaves, Maharaj. Working man, right? He said, I have no leaves. So then Maharaj, he said, I have no leaves, and Maharaj knelt down. He started kneeling down. What happened? So Maharaj knelt down, they were walking in a garden, and he picked up leaves, fallen dry leaves, and he handed it over to him and said, here, I give you leaves. He said, I give you leaves. Please come for the yatra if you can. And then he said, I do understand. He said, I do understand real life is what it is with all the pressures and all of that. He said, but That is the one place now in the current scenario where our entire family of devotees from all over comes together. So yes, that yatra is the time where we can spend time and create that bonding between each other. So please, if you do have leaves, come. If you don't have, some leaves are fine as well. Collect from the Vrindavan forest some leaves. My conclusive statement for the panel discussion this evening is, I read this beautiful quote somewhere. It said, if we are beautiful, it is Krishna's gift to us. But if we live our life beautiful, it is our gift to Krishna. So on Radha Gopinath's appearance day, we want to try and live our life beautiful. And I want to thank our esteemed panel for sharing their thoughts on how to live our life beautiful. May I request all of you to kindly give a loud, loud round of applause with Hari Bol for our esteemed panel. Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Thank you all very much. We are about 35 minutes delayed, but it started a little late, so we would have had longer discussion, but we're slightly delayed. So thank you very much to all of you for coming on and sharing your thoughts. Hari Bol.